I've always said the connection between the supporters and the team is the most important thing, you know. And obviously, I'm the head coach and a member of the team, and an important member of the team, but no more important than anybody else, I guess. But I'd love their support, and I think everything that I've heard so far is I have that, and it's amazing. I'm very, very thankful for it. In terms of what I can promise, we're playing a game that is uncontrollable. So I can promise that I'll do my very, very best every single day, take responsibility. The team that I'd like to see is one that is balanced in terms of attack and defence. A humble team, a respectful team that when they don't have the ball, that runs hard and runs and fights, because I think that's important also. We want to entertain, of course we do, but we also want to win. I'm respectful of the Premier League, I'm respectful of my opponents, that there's a lot of teams that want to do the same thing, but we want to create our own team, our own identity, so it's recognisable. Supporters understand what we're trying to do, can see what we're trying to do, and we'll fight every day for it.
Nick Purewell.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
How are you fixed with injuries? A pretty prosaic question. I appreciate that Edouard Mendy wasn't at training this morning when we were there. Will he miss the game? And how are you fixed otherwise?
Yeah, he'll miss the game. So will NG. Apart from that, everybody's fine. Both of those guys are progressing well, but the game's come too soon. But apart from that, we've got a fully fit team.
Is Mendy's injury a knee?
Yeah.
Is it tendon?
Yeah. So it's responded well, but I think it's been bothering him for a bit. So he's just had to take some time to clear it up. Don't think it'll be too long, but at the moment he's not available.
Tom, then Jason.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
Can you give us an insight into your decision-making process when you were first approached about taking this job, and maybe who you spoke to, family, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, well, my immediate family, my wife and my children. My children are 12 and 7, so I didn't bog them down too much with any conversation. But my wife, bless her, has been with me on this journey along the way, so that was important for me to have that conversation. And then it's about my staff, and obviously hearing the owners here. We quickly had to make a decision. There was a lot of talks. It was very intense, but like I said, I got a nice feeling for the owners on a human level. Good people, very intelligent people that have an understanding of what they want to achieve. They thought in the long term. They had a plan. So that was exciting, and then it was. We were happy and we were secure, and we were in a good football club. So you have to acknowledge that as well. But the challenge, as I said at the start of this conversation, was too big to turn down. It felt right for me. I'll always be respectful and thankful for Brighton and Hove Albion, but this club is an amazing football club, and it's an amazing challenge for us.
Jason.
Probably quite a tricky question, Graham, but obviously in the past, Chelsea have a history of hiring and firing managers. They turn over managers very, very quick. If you'd been approached under the previous regime, would you have been less inclined to take the job?
I don't like answering ifs and those types of questions, but I think it's not fair on the current owners to compare, and it's not fair on the previous regime to compare. It was what it was, and the history of Chelsea and the previous ownership is fantastic. I'm very, very respectful of that. I've grown up with the success, and it's been amazing. Our job is to create our own history, our own path, and that's what we're going to be focused on doing.
Adrian.
Graham, you spoke earlier on about leaving to go to Sweden earlier on in your career. When you made that step, was eventually coming back to this level and working at a club at this level, was that always something you expected would happen, or was it something that felt too far away?
Well, when I left England to go to Sweden, I think I was working in the 9th tier of English football, and then I went to the 4th tier of Swedish football. So in terms of where I sit now, there's the bottom, and then there's like a load of levels, and then there's me. So I didn't have any plan that I'm going to be here sitting in front of you guys. I've never had that, to be honest.
Was it something you thought?
Yeah, in terms of ambition, of course, you want to test yourself at the highest level that you can. But I think ambition is one thing. I think like I said, responsibility is better in terms of work as hard as you can in the job that you are, do as best as you can, and take the steps when it's the right time to take the steps. I always just focused on, there was no grand plan. I just focused on doing my best at every club that I've been at. Try to, as I said, take responsibility. Try to analyse any mistakes you make. Try to move forward, and then it's just about life, isn't it? No one can predict how it's going to go. No one knows, and that's why it's so beautiful.
Liam Twomey.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You've got a very deep squad here of established international players. You've also got some young players with first-team aspirations who signed for quite a lot of money. It's always been regarded as one of your strengths to be connecting with players and man management. So how do you approach that in this sort of situation?
Well, it sounds strange, but I approach it as I've approached every job and every football club, with the greatest respect to every environment and every context. I know that this is a different environment, this is a different context, but we're still working with people, as far as I know. And then it's about understanding them, treating them with respect, getting to know them, trying to communicate as clearly as possible, and build relationships. You know, that's how it is. There's all sorts of narratives out there that top players are this, top players are that. Believe you me, in my experience, people are quite complicated. People have egos, people have different things that challenge, and that's the fascinating thing about this job. I think it's something I really, really enjoy.
Okay, last two, Matt Dunn and then Adam Newson to finish.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
We've moaned in the past, well, mainly young English managers have moaned in the past that big clubs don't appoint young English managers. And certainly English players at Chelsea haven't always done as well as we perhaps hoped they might do. With the kernel of English players you've got here and your own experience, do you see a sort of philosophy change in that regard? And do you see yourself as a sort of a beacon or a pioneer for those talented English managers who now might get those chances?
I just see myself as a coach, not necessarily an English coach. It was the first thing I would say, even though I'm tremendously grateful for my family and for my history and from everything that I've had to come to this point. I'm grateful for the 7 years I had in Sweden as well, which shaped me as a coach and a person. So I don't know. Like I said, I left here when I was 30. I'm now 47, and in those 17 years, I've educated myself as well as I can. I've taken on the different levels and taken on steps to go forward. I think that's something that is positive. In coaching, no matter where you're from, you need to always take responsibility, always believe that you can be more than what you are now, and help the football club that you're working at as best as you can. If that's helpful to the other English coaches, because there are lots of really, really good English coaches, then great. But my responsibility is to me and my family.
Last question, Adam Newson.
Afternoon, Graham.
Hi.
You've been handed a 5-year contract, so it's clear the owners see this as a long-term investment. But from your perspective, what would you view success this season as?
Well, all my thoughts are on tomorrow night. So that's the first thing. We need to compete here. That's how it is. We have to compete. And as I said earlier, I have respect for the Premier League. I have respect for the Champions League. I have respect for the competitions that we're in. But we're Chelsea. There's no guarantees. Resources alone isn't enough, as we know. It's about connecting with our supporters. It's about them recognising a team that we're trying to do. It's about working every day at Cobham. It's about getting that understanding of how we want to play football. But success is to see improvement and to be competing to win.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.